ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ, ירם הים ומלואו. ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ, ירם הים. ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ, ירם הים ומלואו. ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ, ירם הים ומלואו. ידעי די די ידעי די די ידעי די 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 ידעי די ידעי די ידעי די די
Welcome to Anshe Emeth Memorial Temple for a very special graduation Shabbat service. As you might have noticed at the beginning of our service, the barriers are down between us, and we are wearing masks when we typically don't because there are people here in the sanctuary with us. And I know there are many of you out there in the world streaming services because your siblings or grandchildren are becoming graduates today of our religious school program. They are leading our service tonight, and it is a joy to have them with us in person. And soon, we will let you all know when it's time to come back into our sanctuary, and it's going to be very soon. Typically now, we would do a processional song, and everybody would be able to watch the 12th graders come into the sanctuary. However, with our technological constraints, we have a different type of procession instead.
Shabbat Shalom. My name is Ina Horn, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to Anshe Emeth Memorial Temple. As Rabbi Baisley said, tonight we will be celebrating the graduating class of 2021. I'm sure you will all join me in wishing all of our graduates excuse me, a hearty Mazel Tov. It's hard with this fast on. Now let us feel the warmth of Shabbat as we invite Sarah Silver to lead us in the blessings as she lights the Shabbat candles. Shabbat Shalom.
We begin with an unspoken prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in our lives. God needs no words, or Hebrew, no semantics, and no services, but we need them. Through prayer, we can sense our inner strength, our inner purpose, our inner joy, our capacity to love. As we reach upward in prayer, we sense these qualities in our Creator. To God, to love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illuminate all of us and to bring that vision to life. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'chag l'pnei shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Six days a week, we humans use time. We value it as a means to an end. Time well spent for us is time that helps us acquire something. Yet to have more does not mean to be more. Indeed, there's a realm of time where the goal is not to have, but to be, not to own, but to give, not to control, but to share, not to subdue, but be in accord. Life goes wrong when the control of space and the acquisition of things becomes our sole concern. The seventh day rights our balance and restores our perspective. It is like a place in time with a palace for all. It is not a date, but an atmosphere. On the seventh day, we celebrate time rather than space. 6 days a week, we live under the tyranny of things. On Shabbat, we try to become in tune with the holiness in time. It is a day on which we are called upon to share in what is eternal in time, to turn from the results of creation to the mystery of creation, from the world of creation to the creation of the world. God, help us now to make this new Shabbat. After noise, we seek quiet. After crowds of indifferent strangers, we seek to touch those we love. After concentration on work and responsibility, we seek freedom to meditate, to listen to our inward selves. Let's open our eyes to the hidden beauties and the infinite possibilities in the world you are creating. Let us break open the gates of the reservoirs of goodness and kindness in ourselves and in others. Help us as we reach toward one holy, perfect moment of Shabbat.
Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela Shamor וזכור בדיבור אחד השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד שימבול תפארת כלי תהילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי היא מקור הברכה מראש מקדם משוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה קומי צאי מתוך ההפכה רב לך שבט מעמך הבכר והוא יחמול עלייכם לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה Ari, me'afarku milivshi bigdei, tifartechami al yad ben Yishai, beit halach mikorba el nafshi ge'ala lecha dodi likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Itoreri, itoreri, ki ba'oreh, kumi ori, uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai, alayim nigla, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lo tevoshi v'lo tikalmi, ma tishtachachi, uma tehmi bach yechesu. Aniye ami v'ni livneta, ir al tilah. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Ve'hayu shisa shosai v'rachaku, kol mevalayich yasis alayich Elohai, kimsos chatan akala, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela, yamin usmoti frotzi be'et Adonai, tariti al yad ish ben parzi, v'nismecha v'nagila, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Please rise in body or spirit.
Oh, we v'shalom, ateret bala, gam besimcha, u'v'tzola, toch emunei, am segula. Bo'i chala, bo'i chala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Yikara v'yikara shemei rabba.
Amen.
V'amadivrach yotev yamlik malchutei. V'chayekon u'byomekon. U'chayekon beit Yisrael. Bagala bagala. U'bizman karim. V'meru.
Amen.
Yehishmer Abba Mevorach, Ve'olam Yomei Omaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach Arvin from my midnight say, Vitala, 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 Shmeda Kurisha, Rihu, Nailam, Hinkobrihata, the Shirata, Tushbekata, Vanekamata, Damiram Yama, Nimeru, Amen. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us, so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all of these and more we rise now and offer you blessings from the earth. Please rise and body your spirit for the Baruch Hu.
Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim. Bechokma poteach sha'arim, uvidvuna mishaneh itim umachalifet, hazmanim sader et hakokavim. B'mishrotehem barakia, kirtzono borei yom v'layla, golel penei shoshech v'shoshech penei or avir, yom uvei v'layla, Umavdil bein yom uvein laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid nimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. O God, you are as near as the very air we breathe, yet farther than the farthermost star. We yearn to reach you, we seek the light and warmth of your presence. Though we say you are near, we are lonely and alone. Oh, let our desire be so strong that it will tear the veil that keeps you from our sight. Let your light release our darkness and reveal the glory and joy of your presence. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael amcha ahavta Torah umitzot kukim umishpatim otanu limadta alkain Adonai Eloheinu v'shochvenu uvkumenu nashsiach b'kukcha v'nishmach b'divrei Toratcha uvmitzvotecha leolam va'ed ki hem chayenu v'orech Yamenu uvahem nege yoman valayla v'ahavta cha al tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Days and night will we reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד.
Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. וחיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושינתם לבניך ודיברתם בעם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך. וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך. וקשרתם למזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohim.
If we could hear the words from Sinai, then love will flow from us. And we shall serve all that is holy with our intellect and all our passion and all our life. If we could
We serve all that is holy. We shall be doing all that humans can to help the rains flow, the grasses to be green, and the grains to be golden like the sun, and the rivers to be filled with life once more.
All the children of God shall eat, and there will be enough. But if we turn from Sinai's words and serve only what is common and profane, making gods of our own comfort or power, then the holiness of life will contract for us. Our world will grow inhospitable.
Let us therefore lace these words into our passion and our intellect, and bind them as a sign upon our hands and eyes. Let us write them in mezuzot upon our doors and teach them to our children.
Let us honor the generations that came before us, keeping the promise for those yet to be.
Emet ve'emuna kol zot v'kayam aleinu ki hu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ein zulato v'natnu Yisrael amo. I am a Jew. I am a Jew because my faith demands of me no abdication of the mind. I am a Jew because my faith requires of me all the devotion of my heart. I am a Jew because in every place where suffering weeps, I weep. I am a Jew because at every time when despair cries out, I hope. I am a Jew because the word of the people of Israel is the oldest and the newest. I am a Jew because the promise of Israel is the universal promise. I am a Jew because for Israel, the world is not completed. We are completing it. I am a Jew because for Israel, humanity is not created. We are creating it. I am a Jew because Israel places humanity and its unity above the nations and above Israel itself. I am a Jew because above humanity, image of the divine unity, Israel places the unity which is divine.
The eternal truth is that you alone are God, and there is no one else. May all the world rejoice in your love and exult in your justice. Let them beat their own swords into their plowshares
And their spears into pruning hooks.
Let nation not lift up swords against nation, and let them study war no more.
Shall not hate another in your heart. You shall love your neighbor as yourself.
The stranger that lives among you shall be accepted as your equal, for you were a stranger in the land of Egypt. From slavery
We went forth to freedom, so let all be free and sing with joy.
Yai dai dai da dai da 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 da. Yai dai dai da dai da 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 da. Yai dai da dai da dai da 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 da. Yai
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilo lo sefele, nora tehilo lo sefele.
מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקי הים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלינו ואמרו, זה אלינו ואמרו.
Adonai imlo olam va'ed.
Adonai imlo le'olam va'ed. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 yai dai 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 dai.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Yeshalom v'hamdienu Shomrenu l'chaim u'rosh aleinu. Sukkah Shomecha v'technenu v'yitzah tova milfanecha v'hoshienu laman shemecha. V'agim ba'adienu v'haser ma'aleinu v'yev dever v'charav v'ara v'yagon v'hadif yimenu avon v'fesha. Utzkiel kifanecha tifanenu ki el shomrenu u'metzlienu ata ki el kanun v'chamhum ata. Ushmor tidnenu uvinu Ephraim u'shalom me'ata v'ad olam baruch ata Adonai shomer amo Yisrael ka'ad. Eternal God, like all generations of Israel, we turn to you in hope. We need you as we need air to breathe. May all your children be filled with a love of freedom and truth, that tyranny may vanish from the reign of righteousness and be established everywhere on earth. Then will the suffering end of all who live in lands of darkness and persecution.
Your spirit pervades the world. We pray for peace of all lands and peoples, and we pray for our brothers and sisters in the land of Israel.
In our journeys among the nations, our people have always turned in love to the land where Israel was born, where our prophets taught their imperishable message of justice and peace, and where our poets sang their eternal songs of love for you and your love of us and all humanity.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Please rise in body or spirit for the Amidah. Adonai sivatagdita ufia yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
Ata Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך חוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם, בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך מימי ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Please be seated.
Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Ritzei v'Imnuchatenu, Padshenu v'Mitzotecha, v'Tein Hilkenu b'Toratecha, Sabenu mituvecha, v'Samchenu v'Shuatecha, v'Tahel libenu le'ovdecha v'Emet. V'chan hilenu Adonai Eloheinu, v'Ahava u'Ratzon Shabbat Kadshecha. V'Anuhu vo Yisrael mekadshe shemecha, Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום, שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם, שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם, וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם, שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם, תשים לעולם, תשים לעולם.
We take a moment now for Tefillat Halev, the personal and private prayer of the heart.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. הוא יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. הוא יעשה שלום, שלום, שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
Before Hebrew school every day, my dad used to tell me as he walked me into the temple, be a leader with your behavior. Evidently, he never really said to lead with good behavior. Yes, whether or not I stayed true to his advice and the quality of the behavior I acted with throughout the years here can be questioned, those words still stuck with me. Throughout the countless years of learning at Anshe Emeth, I have learned a lot about Judaism, but even more about myself. The social aspect of Hebrew school, from weekly classes to youth group events to the sixth grade retreat, and even watching my shoe get thrown off the roof of the temple, allowed me to reflect deeply on myself and my connection to Judaism, as well as my connection to everyone here. As a whole, having this group to go to and make friends away from school with common ideas has been huge. And I know that in whatever communities we all end up in, we will remember the experiences that Hebrew school has given us and use those experiences and the values of Judaism to lead with good behavior. To close this out, I would like to thank my parents for sticking with me and keeping me in Hebrew school, even after having to talk to more Adam after every class about my behavior. I would also like to thank Rabbi Baisley for being helpful and understanding and teaching me about Judaism throughout my time in religious school. Lastly, I would like to thank my classmates for being great friends and making Hebrew school fun. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Eli Schrager. I've attended Hebrew school since second grade. I've always felt a sense of community within the temple, whether in Hebrew school or with my friends. Anshe Emeth gave me an ability to go to Camp Harlem and Heller High. Both of these have impacted my Jewish life, where I learned independence while attending both, and would highly recommend kids to attend camp in Heller High. While I've been at Anshe Emeth, I've participated in 80 youth group, the Pasta Night, Purim Carnival, and etc. I've participated also at the temple with cooking for the men's shelter with Team Patavon, and sadly washing the floors. I've volunteered at the GON and with Matt cleaning and organizing the youth suite, and many more things. This is just a few of the things to name that I participated in here at Anshe Emeth. Each one has taught me something that I will take with me for the rest of my life. I would like to thank Rabbi Miller for helping me survive my bar mitzvah with my crazy sister. Rabbi Baisley, thank you for your patience and not killing me after I chucked Sam's shoes off the roof. Matt Vogel, thank you for being you and for being a good listener and coming over sometimes to make me laugh. I would also like to thank all the teachers that taught me. I know I wasn't the easiest. Morris Sari, whom I was a madrakim for a few years with. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your class. Thank you, Bubby, Gams, Papa, and Diane for your support. Also, thank you to my parents and to the canner. I wouldn't be able to be here without you guys. As I move on in my education, I will be attending Monmouth University in the fall to study criminal justice and hopefully pursue my career. Thank you.
Wow, I know I said this phrase sarcastically many, many times, but I really can't believe I'm actually graduating Hebrew High. When I started this temple, I was a shy little girl who cried and begged her mother not to leave her in the kindergarten room. But looking in the mirror today, I have certainly become a different person thanks to this temple. Now, before I talk about myself, I want to give my thanks. Foremost, I would like to say thank you to Rabbi Baisley, Allison, Rabbi Glasser, Kenara, and Rabbi Miller. All of these people have played a major role in my life. They have helped me find a voice and role in this temple, helped me become bat mitzvah, made my time at this temple amazing, and are people I know I can always look to for guidance. Next, I would like to say thank you to all my Hebrew school teachers I have had over the years. From Sarah to Rabbi Glasser, me and my fellow classmates have faced and challenged a bunch of teachers. Though we've only managed to make a few quit or get fired, I deeply applaud all of those who pushed through even when we may have made them cry. Not only have my teachers taught me Hebrew, all about Judaism and Jewish history, but they have also taught me how to find community within the walls of this temple. They led discussions about anything and everything, and have always made me feel comfortable to voice my opinions. While I am very sorry for all the things me and my classmates have put them through, I think I could safely say that both they and us have grown from our experiences. I would also like to say thank you to Matthew Vogel. I've only known him for a few years, but in that short time, he has impacted my life in such a positive way. Every time I see Matt, he always has a smile on his face and laughs ready to come out. He has always made an effort to make me and everyone else at this temple feel welcome. He has always made an effort to, he checked up on me after I tore my ACL. He welcomed me into Madrahiming with open arms. He's written numerous rec letters without hesitation, even when I gave him really short notice. Sorry, Matt. He checked in on me after I came home from Israel. He even took the time to talk to me about other programs I could do to get back to Israel. And he's always been such an approachable person. So for that, I'd like to say thank you. Next, I want to give a quick thanks to my brother, Tyler. I remember looking at him on this stage just 2 years ago, giving a speech and thinking about the day that would be me, and look where we are. While we may have been mortal enemies in the past and later realized we had more power if we teamed up against my parents, I could proudly say that he is my best friend. Even though I can be a difficult and needy person to be around, he's always there to be a shoulder for me to cry on and the person I trust the most to give me advice. I love you and thank you. Now on to my parents. Even though I rarely show it, I truly am thankful for everything you two have done for me. I know it is cheesy, but they really are some of the best parents I could ever ask for. Not to expose myself, but they have always been there for me, even when I was too lazy to make myself lunch, or forgot homework, equipment, or other miscellaneous things at home, or was sad about a bad grade, or was too afraid to make a phone call because then I would have to talk to random people, or was bedridden after I tore my ACL, and they cared to literally my every need and sat on the couch with me watching really horrible television so I didn't feel lonely. They have made me not afraid to be myself and taught me how to challenge myself and pick myself up when I get knocked down. They've also pushed me to go to this temple and drove me here for years because they knew I would someday realize how important and great this place would be for me. So to John and Diane, I love you guys and thank you for putting up with me. Lastly, I would like to say thank you to this temple and this community of people here around me. This place has been like a second home to me. I have even slept, learned, cried, sang, made friends, laughed, and celebrated in this building. And every single one of you has made this place a safe and welcoming place for me. Absolutely nobody here cares about what you look like, how much money do you have, where you live, your identity, or any other personal things about yourself, which is one of the main reasons why I have come to love this community. I know that this will always be a building where I could truly be myself, which is just so special. Ever since I was little, I was quite confused about my identity and my role in this world. My parents can attest to this, but when I was younger, I even thought that I was only a quarter Asian because I came out of my mom, not my dad, and somehow they gave me an extra quarter of white. I later learned that that is not how babies are made. I have always sort of struggled with my cultural identity. I was Asian, but I didn't go to Chinese school, and I didn't eat a lot of the same Asian foods as my friends, and I didn't celebrate any Asian holidays. I was Jewish, but I didn't keep kosher. I didn't celebrate Shabbat at home, and I looked different than almost every Jewish person I knew. It was the little things like those that made me feel connected to both sides of me, but not a part of. It kind of felt like I was just Asian and Jewish on paper. It took me a while, but with the help of this community around me, I now understand that it is both a gift and a blessing to be able to tap into multiple cultures and communities. One of the major contributors to this personal growth was my time at Heller High that I would not have known about nor been able to go to without the support of this temple. On my trip, I got to meet my first Jewish friend. I remember sitting at lunch and looking over at this girl, questioning if I should ask her if she was half Asian like me, but then thinking maybe it was weird. And before I knew it, she looked at me anyways and said, "Sorry if this is strange, but are you a halfie?" And I said yes, and we both screamed in excitement. I don't know why, but it felt so amazing to finally meet somebody truly like me and can understand what it's like to have grown up in a biracial Jewish household other than my brother. Though I think the moment that really hit me was when I was in Jewish history and learning about the Jewish community, about why the Jewish community is diasporic. My amazing teacher Talia taught us how through numerous acts of anti-Semitism and hatred towards Jews all throughout history, Jewish people have settled, then been kicked out, forced to find someplace new, assimilated, then been kicked out again, and so on and so on. All throughout that process, Jewish diasporas were created all around the world with different histories and different looking people. When I learned about our history, I realized that what I thought a Jewish person was not accurate. I realized that due to our past, there's no look to us Jewish people, and every single one of us is different in some way, just like me. Today, I understand that it's such a gift to be able to have connections to multiple cultures and communities. Without me being who I am, I would never have been able to meet all my friends around me, been a part of this community, and have grown into the person I am today. So thanks, Mom and Dad, and to everybody at this temple.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jesse Cohn, for those of you guys who don't know me. I started at the temple inside my mother's womb, and I haven't left since. So saying that I'm grateful for this place, Anshe Emeth, would be an understatement. The amount of learning, laughing, and overall memories that have come from this place are immeasurable. While the memories may be measurable, there are definitely a few that stick out. Since I don't want to lose anyone on Zoom, I know there's a lot of us, I'll share 2 quick memories. My first quick little memory comes from my mom was president here at Anshe Emeth. For some reason, my 5-year-old self thought that since she was the president, I suddenly had this significant wealth of knowledge about the temple, and of course, much more than my peers. I would tell my friends all these secrets that definitely just weren't accurate, but I told them anyway. Don't know why I did that. And I also remember thinking I was so cool because I knew all the good hiding spots for hide and seek. My second memory comes from a classic time period for each student here at Anshe Emeth, junior choir. I'll never forget, and shout out to Laura Gordon, if you're out there, for capturing these moments on video, the amount of laughs and of course singing we did in the junior choir. While I may not have loved singing, I did love being with Carly, Dylan, Jared, Ryan, and all my fellow singers. And it was so nice that we shared this one similar thing, our connection to Judaism. And I think that is what I'm most grateful for being here at Anshe Emeth. No, not the singing lessons, but being here was deeper than the fact of just knowing all the words to "Am I awake? Am I prepared?" I do love that song though, or knowing each prayer perfectly. We learn the importance of community, commitment, and friendship. And for that, I'm forever grateful. In addition to the single moments, there are plenty of little things that happen that I always look forward to when coming to the temple. These could include my annual latkes from Morsari, my sushi/bar mitzvah tutoring sessions with Meredith, whatever would happen in Lenny's class, all the carpools to temple, and more. Not only has being here at temple helped create these long-lasting memories, but Anshe Emeth and the people here have created endless opportunities for me. I'll be forever thankful for Anshe Emeth to introducing me to Heller High, which is truly a life-changing experience, even if it didn't go as any of us would have expected. Being able to experience life in Israel with so many new friends and friends from back home was amazing. Then having to deal with COVID and an unprecedented hardship was life-altering. Now, for everyone's favorite part, the thank yous. Let me start off by thanking my grandparents. Thank you, Graham, Gramps, for being a constant support of love, and I'm extremely grateful for you guys. Next, thank you to the rest of my family, Brandon, Garrett, Dylan, Morgan, Danya, and Sherry and Uncle Stephen. Spending time with all you, whether at a family event or just hanging out alone, is always a time to remember. You guys make me feel comfortable, make me smile, and just overall, I love being with you guys. Next, a huge thank you to Riley Miller and Riley Baisley. You guys have both been there for me for literally forever. We were talking about it earlier, how short I was. Riley Baisley knew me, but it's so crazy that you guys are still here, and I really appreciate you guys. Next, huge shout out to Matt Vogel. I know we've only known each other for a few years, but we have a really great bond, and I always love spending time with you, and you're a great leader to learn from. Finally, thank you to my parents, Mom, Dad, love you guys. Saying that I'm grateful for you guys would truly be an understatement. I'm so lucky to have parents like you that are always there to support any crazy idea I may have or anything like that. But I'm keeping it short. Love you guys. Thank you to all my teachers here at Anshe Emeth. For all my 18 years here, I've had so many amazing teachers throughout religious school. I've been able to learn about so many topics within Judaism and was taught so well. I've literally grown up here, so I just want to give a final thank you to everyone who has come into my life while being here. Many of you guys have known me since before I was born, maybe in the past couple of years, but you guys have all touched my life in your own way, so I really appreciate that. Thank you. Finally, it is so crazy that I'm graduating, but I know this will be my forever second home, and it'll always be here for me, so thank you, Anshe Emeth.
Hello, I am Henry Ames. I'll be graduating from South Brunswick High School in a month actually. And I've been part of this temple since I've been born as well. I might not have fancy words for it like Jesse, but I'm going to be going to SUNY College of Environmental Science and Forestry this fall to study environmental biology. I'd like to thank all of my religious school teachers for teaching me for a year. No, each of them has put a different spin on it, and I've enjoyed most of the classes. I'll shout out Lenny. He's not here, but he's not watching, but he's in my heart. Religious school over the years has taught me a lot. It has definitely shaped my worldview while teaching me faith. I've learned compassion and all that good stuff. I'd like to thank Rabbi Miller and Rabbi Baisley for, leading services every Friday. Friday nights would be very different without him. And it was very different when Rabbi Miller was retiring. I'd like to thank Cantor Ott. It's always fun to sing along. And I would have liked to get to know Cantor Stanton this past year, but COVID kind of threw us all out of the building. Some of my clearest memories when I was a young kid, because I'm technically an adult now, were the Perm Carnival and lighting candles on Hanukkah. The Perm Carnival just sticks in my mind, winning a goldfish and a lollipop. We don't give away goldfish anymore. My one goldfish lasted at least 3 years. And one of the biggest events that has affected me was my first midnight run, where we go into New York City to hand out supplies for the homeless. I had so much fun on it, but at the end, there was still a stinging sense of sorrow that cannot be replicated. The temple has always felt like a second home. I could always go wherever I wanted. No, there weren't really locked doors. They're just closed doors that you could open. I do like underneath the stairs in the front, supply closet. It's fun to go under. And I will continue going to temple in college, but it'll be hard to find a temple that lives up to the standards that Anshe Emeth has given me. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ben Fried, and first I would like to thank Rabbi Baisley for adapting to all the new protocols during this year. Next, I would like to thank all the students and teachers, and many thanks to Susan Cohn family for hosting our class at your house so we could all be together as much as possible. As this year has been difficult, I would like to thank my family for taking me to all the classes and helping me adapt to the new schedule. I'm so grateful for the ways in which I have connected to my Judaism this year. As learning builds over time, so do the questions that we ask ourselves and others about Jewish heritage. This year, as it was my final year, taught me many things. I have learned that in times of hardship, we must preserve. I want to thank all my teachers from all over the years. Today, I leave you with these words: never stop learning because life never stops. Carol Korshoff, thank you.
Shabbat Shalom to all my fellow graduates, our family, clergy, and the entire congregation. It is a privilege to be here today in the building, graduating alongside my classmates, knowing the crazy last 2 years we have had. Ever since my family first walked into the temple, we were welcomed with open arms, and I felt that we did belong here. It didn't hurt that the two rabbis at Anshe Emeth mimicked the blend that is my family, half Brooklyn and half Rochester. Between Hebrew school, Shabbat services, and going to Israel with Heller High, Anshe Emeth has truly allowed me to become more in touch with not only my religion, but with myself. While I am so very proud of myself and my fellow graduates, I know graduation today is only a milestone in the journey of our lives. I plan on absorbing every second of this joyous day and adding it to the collection of memories I've made here over the years to help guide me as I now leave home and venture off into the next stage of my life as a terp at Maryland. I'd like to thank some amazing people who got me through this day and helped shape me into the person I am. I'd like to start by thanking Rabbi Baisley, Rabbi Miller, Rabbi Glasser, Cantor Ott, and Cantor Stanton. Together and individually, Your warmth and guidance stay with me always. Thank you also to Matt, Allison, and a special shout out to Meredith for keeping the youth engaged in my time here. My teachers, thank you for your patience and dedication with myself and my classmates. In particular, Maura Schechter, who I've been happily to maintain a relationship since I was 8 years old. A heartfelt thank you goes out to my entire family. Thank you for the countless miles you're willing to drive to allow us to be part of this congregation, which I love so much. To my younger brother, not so little brother, follow in my footsteps and stay involved in Temple. It's so amazing. Mazel tov to everyone. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Unlike most of my peers, I did not grow up here at Anshe Emeth. I grew up attending a conservative synagogue in which my involvement consisted of high holiday services once a year and Hebrew school that would end as soon as my bat mitzvah did. That was it. I did not have a strong Jewish identity because to me, attending synagogue was a means to an end. Then I spent a summer at Camp Harlem. Starting my journey there, later than most as well, I did not know most of the Reform tudes and prayers. I just knew that I immediately loved them. Upon arriving back home, my mom asked me how my summer was, and I responded with one sentence. If services were like this, I would go all the time, and by choice. And well, here we are. I will never forget my first Jew directions rehearsal with Cantor Ott. As someone who is not always expressive in new and unfamiliar situations, I had a smile on my face the entire time. I then quickly realized that this would not be a one-time occurrence. It would be how I felt every time I walked into the temple. I quickly joined 80, meeting some of my closest friends, experiencing new things, and learning invaluable life lessons that I will take with me not only to college, but wherever life leads me and beyond. None of this would have been possible without the unrelenting support and encouragement of Matt Vogel. Matt, your resistance and support over the past 3 years helped shape me into the leader and the person that I am today. Your hard work and enthusiasm for all that you do does not go unnoticed. I would also like to thank Rabbi Glasser for her role and her support during my year as 80 president, making it meaningful and enjoyable despite the unusual circumstances. My time at Anshe Emeth was also greatly defined by Heller High and the journey leading up to it. From the moment my family heard about Heller High and Anshe Emeth's commitment to sending as many students as possible, it was a constant on my mind. Admittedly, between getting the flu 2 days before departure, making me unable to leave with the group, to abruptly being sent home in March due to COVID, it was far from perfect. But the eye-opening experiences, lifelong friends, and lessons learned outweigh the unfortunate circumstances 100 times over. Thank you to Anshe Emeth for enabling me to embark on my journey to Israel, for providing me with the space and the opportunities to not only grow into my unapologetic self, but to feel loved for doing so. A huge thank you to my parents for hearing and trusting 13-year-old me and making the switch to Anshe Emeth, and of course for supporting me in all that I do every step of the way. Cantor Stanton, thank you for the opportunities to play violin this year despite the unusual circumstances. And to the amazing clergy, Rabbi Baisley, Rabbi Miller, Rabbi Glasser, thank you for providing me with an outlet to explore my connection to Judaism, not only in the classroom, but through lots of impactful conversations. I must also give a special shout out to Cantor Ott for not only all of the music and performance opportunities she provided to me, but for boosting my confidence and self-esteem in ways that I honestly doubted were possible. I appreciate it more than you will ever know. Lastly, to the entire Anshe Emeth congregation, thank you for filling the sanctuary on Friday nights and for the overwhelming sense of community that you all welcomed my family and I into. I cannot imagine the past 4 years any other way. Shabbat Shalom.
Hello, my name is Kevin. I'm a senior, and so I'm here today. When I first started attending Hebrew school in 2nd grade, I thought it was a burden, something I had to wake up for early and learn absolutely nothing from. This is surely something that has crossed other people's minds at some point in their Hebrew school journey. However, I have quickly come to the realization that Hebrew school is not something I should begrudge, but rather an opportunity to exchange thoughts, meet new people, and most of all, learn about Judaism. Not only have I learned more about my religion through coming on Saturdays, Sundays, and Tuesdays, but I have expanded my thoughts and outlook on the meaning of life and society as a whole. Religious school has played a vital role in the development of me as a Jewish adult and the evolution of my character. I will always use what I have learned in my decision-making and thought processes for the rest of my life. One quote that stands out to me in particular is from the movie Thor Ragnarok. After Asgard, the planet they live on, is destroyed, and Thor and his people are evacuating on a spaceship, Heimdall says that Asgard is not a place, it's a people. However, for this purpose, it would be Anshe Emeth is not a place, it's a people. It is the people of Anshe Emeth that makes it more than just a place, it makes it a community. Though we are not able to meet physically at the temple for services, through the leadership of the rabbis and the members of the congregation, we are still able to hold services for the community and members of Anshe Emeth. Furthermore, in times of mourning, congregants are able to assemble at a moment's notice, not at the temple, but at anyone within the community's home to sit Shiva and provide support. When I think of Anshe Emeth, I think of it as a community of family and friends more than just a brick building with a dome on top. Anshe Emeth Memorial Temple is a place of worship, but it would be just another building if it was not for the committed temple members. It is these dedicated, dutiful, and selfless people that have enabled me to attend Hebrew school and become the person I am today. For that, I cannot thank the teachers, rabbis, and board members enough for their commitment to this incredible institution and their devotion to educate and inspire the next generation of young Jewish adults. Approaching the end of my 10th year of Hebrew school, I couldn't be more grateful for my family's support. Despite my initial lack of interest, they knew that Hebrew school had many valuable lessons to provide me with, and after these 10 years, I could definitely say they were right. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie Hay. So I would first like to preface by saying am I loud? Am I good? Yes. Okay, thank you. I'd first like to preface this by saying I'm absolutely shocked I am here graduating because my 13-year-old self at my bat mitzvah was very adamant on not continuing religious school, like many people, I assume. So I first wanted to start with one of my most defining moments as an Anshe Emeth member. I have a very vivid memory of sitting in the Beit Midrash as a child when a teen came to talk to us about Heller High. I remember being absolutely shocked and I could not believe people did this trip and vowed I never ever would. But here I am, a Heller High graduate and soon to be an Anshe Emeth graduate. I do not want to solely focus on Heller, but this trip has changed my life in so many ways. I'm eternally grateful for the push from our temple to pursue this trip. I could never have imagined even 4 years ago having gone to Israel for a few months. It was one of the most incredible experiences of my life and one that would have never happened without Anshe Emeth. Although I attended religious school, I never fully felt like I could continue here for years. But as the years progressed, I fell in love with Anshe Emeth and most importantly, being Jewish. It took me a really long time to love being Jewish, and being at temple so often helped with that. I'm unbelievably grateful to be a part of Anshe Emeth. Being a Reformed Jew is really special because you do not have to believe in everything from the Torah, and you are still welcomed in with open arms. Finding my Jewish identity had so much to do with appreciating Jewish culture. I found that once I opened myself up to the entire world of Judaism, I fell in love with the religion and myself so much more. I wouldn't have been able to continue here all these years without all of the most important people in my life. First, I would like to thank all my previous teachers because they've created years of memories to reflect on and have taught me a million lessons along the way. I would also like to thank all of the teachers I've madrachad with because I am incredibly grateful for the experience. I remember talking about how much I loved being a madrachah at my bat mitzvah nearly 5 years ago, and that love has not changed. Being a madrachah was one of my favorite things I have done all throughout high school, and I am so happy to have had the opportunity to do so. I would especially like to thank Matt, Rabbi Glasser, and Rachel for giving me the chance to continue being a madrachah for so long and being amazing leaders. I also want to especially thank Rabbi Glasser for running the 80 board because it has been such an important part of my life my last two years here, and it wouldn't have been the same without her. I would also like to thank Matt, who is always there to help give words of advice or just laugh at my sarcasm. And I cannot wait to work here one day under your guidance. I would also like to thank Kanara, especially because she got me through my bat mitzvah, which I am eternally grateful for and will never forget. I would truly like to thank Rabbi Miller for being such an incredible mentor over the years, and without your guidance and support, I would have not continued here. Without your persistence over Heller, I probably never would have known about the amazing opportunity that it is. Lastly, I would like to thank Rabbi Baisley for not only being someone to help convince my mom to let me go to Israel, but for being such a great role model over these last few years. I've really enjoyed all the many discussions we've had within your class and wouldn't have been able to do so without you. Now for my family, thank you to my dad for not being Jewish because my mom converted to Reform Judaism, and that obviously was a great choice. Secondly, I would like to thank my sister for dropping out of Hebrew school, thus giving me full bragging rights as a Hebrew school graduate. Thank you for that one.
But in all seriousness, I am very thankful and grateful that we were able to join this temple so many years ago because it's changed my life in immeasurable ways. I really want to thank my mom for allowing me to have all these amazing opportunities by staying at Anshe Emeth all these years, even after Brittany graduated. I've made lifelong friends here, and I cannot imagine never having done so. Lastly, I really want to thank my grandpa, who I'm sure is watching. Hi. I have admired him for so many years and his devotion to our religion. Without having someone like him in my family, I never would have been here. I appreciate him more than he knows, and I am immensely grateful for him. He constantly showed me how being Jewish is an incredible thing, and to always remember that. Thank you. And lastly, I would like to call up Jesse Cohn. 1 minute. So on behalf of our graduating class, we are donating funds to help put storage benches to be used on the roof, and especially to store everything for Sukkot.
And then this right here is a little gift from the graduating class. We just want to do a final thank you to Rabbi Baisley for all he's done, because he's known us forever. So this is a gift for him. Thank you.
On behalf of all of the clergy, I am so unbelievably impressed with all of your words tonight, and a huge Yasher Koach on all of your sermons tonight. We have some words of blessing and reflection for all of you, and we're going to begin with one from Cantor Ott.
The graduating seniors. Mazel tov to you and your families. And thank you for making Anshe Emeth your second home all of these years and taking advantage of all that we have to offer, especially in this pandemic year. I wish you much love and success in college and beyond. I'm so proud of you.
It is an honor tonight to welcome back into our congregation, to our sanctuary, Rabbi Miller, our Rabbi Emeritus, who I am feeling very blessed to have join me as we reflect upon your 12 years here at the temple, and to bestow some words upon you as well.
Thank you, Rabbi Baisley, for indulging me and for enabling me to be able to share with you and all of the graduates and their families tonight. As each of you came up to the bima at various times during the service, I had these flashback moments of watching you grow. Some from birth, or from the Gan, or kindergarten, or third grade, bar mitzvah and bat mitzvah. And of course, with so many of you last year, right before the pandemic broke out, when we spent those incredible sacred moments together just outside of Jerusalem at Subah, waking up each morning to see the most incredible, beautiful Judean hills that our ancestors could only dream of. And to be with you together tonight reminds me of the power and the importance of this place in all of our lives. Anshe Emeth is built around what is in the center for us, the central focus, the Torah. And Torah scrolls, when they are dressed, they have on top of them crowns. And it's our task as rabbis and cantor and teachers and parents to take our children and ask you to become the embodiment of everything written inside of the Torah. To take the words that are written on the parchment and show you how to make them come alive, and for you to become those words in everything that you do and wherever you go. And then you become the precious gemstones in the crown on the top of the Torah. And these are what those gemstones look like. Kindness, dignity, integrity, love of humankind, devotion to tradition, decency, a welcoming heart, and so much more. You are the gemstones. And we have been watching you shine each and every day as you become the embodiment of those very precious values we hold so dear. As you complete your years of learning here at Anshe Emeth, I want to quote almost all of you. This is what I heard you say. I will take whatever I learned at this sacred place and carry it with me forever. May the spirit of this congregation inspire you to go forth and to create lives that will be nothing less than sacred and wonderful. And let the gemstones that you are shine gloriously wherever your life's journey takes you. Mazel tov to you, to your parents, to your family members, and to the entire congregation. We are all so very, very proud of you.
Yeah. I would like to now call up the graduating class of 2021 to come on up for a socially distant semicircle at the Bima. I want to invite everybody to please rise. Spread out a little bit more so that everybody can be in the semicircle. There you go. Got it. Look at these Shanapunams. We join you tonight in thanksgiving and with rejoicing on where you've come in this journey. I know Rabbi Miller joins me in this, but looking at all of you, each one of you has led an unbelievable life to make it to this moment. And I'm looking at you right now, reflecting back on it. Some easy, some difficult, some moments of challenge, and some moments of jubilation. I think each one of you knows that the path of life is not straight, that there are often twists and turns, and sometimes we wander into the unknown, and we don't know what's going to happen. If anything, this last year has taught us that we really don't know what's ahead of us. But each one of you has learned resilience in this last year and throughout your time with us. You've learned that the sources of that resilience are your families, your siblings, your extended family as well, each other, and your temple family. You've all reflected about how Anshe Emeth is your home. And I want to confirm for you that no matter where you go in your life and no matter what you do, Anshe Emeth will always be your home, and we will always be your clergy here for you. What I think you've also learned in your 12 years or so with us is that as Jews, we have a sacred purpose in life. And that's wherever there is darkness, we are to be the barriers of light. That we are to look out at the world and not see it in rose-colored glasses, but to see it for the truth that it is, so that we can expose injustice and work to make the world a better place. But we do it in sacred partnership. Up until this time, you've been learning all of the skills to do that. And soon, you get to go out there and do it. But we've already been watching you do it to some degree. I can't wait to see what the next 12 years look like. I can't wait to see where your life goes, what paths you go down, what choices you get to make. Because knowing all of you, it's going to be nothing short than remarkable. And I hope and I pray that you will let us even just glimpse a little bit of that. It has been an enormous pleasure for us to be able to accompany you on this journey, to be your guides for this short little time. And I hope the lessons that we've taught you will help forge a pathway forward for you as you go forth into the world and try new things and experiment and see where it goes. Because you have the tools and the resources and the resilience to be able to do that. You learned it from the words written on the scrolls in front of you right now, which you read for at your bar and bat mitzvahs. And at the end of those services, either Rabbi Miller or myself blessed you with the threefold benediction found within these scrolls, as we do yet again tonight.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Yoer Adonai panav elecha v'yechuneka.
May the light of God shine down upon you, be gracious to you, and use you to shine on to others.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
Wherever you go, wherever your pathway of life takes you, may you always have the greatest gift that God could give us, the gift of peace. Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה 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 שהחיינו וקיימנו בזמן הזה שהחיינו וקיימנו בזמן הזה שהחיינו וקיימנו לזמן הזה שהחיינו וקיימנו בזמן הזה שהחיינו וקיימנו בזמן הזה שהחיינו וקיימנו לזמן הזה שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה שהחיינו וקיימנו בזמן הזה שהחיינו וקיימנו בזמן הזה שהחיינו וקיימנו לזמן הזה שהחיינו וקיימנו בזמן הזה שהחיינו וקיימנו בזמן הזה שהחיינו וקיימנו לזמן הזה לזמן הזה לזמן הזה לזמן הזה לזמן הזה.
Amen. Not an easy thing to do while wearing a mask. Congratulations. Mazel tov once again to our graduates and their families. We have gifts for you, a couple of gifts from the temple as well as their certificate of graduation. They are spread out for you in our oneg. Our COVID team has advised us not to hand out multiple things to multiple people at once, so they're waiting for you in a COVID-friendly way in the oneg. And we can't wait to share those with you soon. But not only do we say Mazel tov to you, we want to say thank you to you. Because as much as you have learned from us, we have learned just as much from you. And you've taught us so much of what it means to be clergy and teachers that, well, I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm trying to draw the service long because I just don't want to say goodbye. But the truth is we're not saying goodbye because this is always going to be your home. Our thanks tonight to Dave Schlossberg for adding beautiful music to our service. At the conclusion of our service, we'll do Kiddush and Motzi here on our Zoom call, and then we will log off and there'll be a virtual Zoom oneg for people to log onto. Please check out our weekly emails for all of the links for the things that are coming. Even though it is June, it doesn't mean the temple is slowing down one bit. I want to invite everybody to come for the June 11th, 12th, and 13th weekend as we invite in Abby Stein to be not only a Keepers of Jewish Excellence on Sunday, but she is going to be our keynote speaker for our Pride Shabbat weekend. She will be speaking Friday night and leading Torah study Saturday morning. And it is a Torah study and a sermon that you will not want to miss. You can find out more about Abby Stein in our weekly email. As we celebrate the joy of life and living, we turn now to those in our community whose lives are in a precarious balance due to health or hospitalization. O God of healing, we name now those who are suffering, those who are ailing, those who are hurt, and we ask for your blessings upon them to help restore them to full body and health and strength, We also ask of you to give strength to the caregivers who care for them, the doctors, physicians, nurses, as well as their caregivers who are their families. May we ask for your blessing, and may it come soon and swiftly. Amen.
מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu, mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
We continue now on page 18 as we rise in either body or spirit for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Please be seated. Let holiness move in us. Let us pay attention to its small but great voice. Let us see the sacred light of God in others and honor that light. We will strive to be holy. We will strive to repair the world given to us to hand on. Precious is the treasure of words and knowledge and deeds that move inside us. Holy is the hand that works for peace and for justice. Holy is the mouth that speaks for goodness.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני ושמו אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו אחד.
When cherished ties are broken and the chain of love is shattered, only trust in the strength of faith can lighten the heaviness of the heart. At times, the pain of separation seems more than we can bear. But if we dwell too long on our loss, we embitter our hearts and harm ourselves and those about us. The psalmist said that in his affliction, he learned the law of God. And in truth, grief is a great teacher when it sends us back to serve and bless the living. We learn how to counsel and comfort those who, like ourselves, are bowed with sorrow. We learn when to keep silent in their presence and when a word will assure them of our love and concern. Thus, even when they're gone, the departed are with us, moving us to live as, in their higher moments, they themselves wish to live. We remember them now. They live on in our hearts, and they are an abiding blessing. If you are here with us tonight to share the name of a loved one who has recently passed, I will ask that you say their names in just a moment. But right now, we think of those whose families are observing the Shloshim, those whose family members have passed in the recent month. We remember Jack Boris, husband of Adele of blessed memory, father of Janet and Amy and David, father-in-law of Christopher, Richard, and Amy. We remember Toby Gutwillick, wife of Mayor Gutwillick of blessed memory, mother of Jack and Isaac and Faye, mother-in-law of Sherry and Francine and Philip of blessed memory. We remember Sina Faye Roth, wife of Raymond of blessed memory, mother of Alan and Monica and Barry, mother-in-law of Elise and Bill. We remember Roy Snyder, husband of Judith Snyder, father of Douglas, Deborah, Nancy, and David, father-in-law of Jason and Elke. Remember Edward Baldin, husband of Gail Baldinger, brother of Marion, father of Eric and Julie. We also remember Aaron Morash, son of Joan Peter and Vincent Morash, brother of Andrea Lynn, brother-in-law of Kevin, and uncle to Jacob, Juliet, and Henry Lynn. We also hold in our hearts Gordon Friedman, who we learned passed just before our service began. He is the father of Dan and Randy Friedman, and as soon as we have funeral information, we'll share it with the congregation. We also remember at this time those whose yurtzeit falls during this season. As I said earlier, if you are here to share the name of a loved one, I invite you to do so either as I look out at the camera, and even though we won't be able to hear your names, the one who hears them all will hear them all, or as I look out into the congregation. Zikranam livracha, may all their memories be an abiding blessing. I ask now that the mourners rise in either body or spirit for Kadisha Tom Mourners Kaddish on page 20. Itkadal v'kadash shemir rabah, v'alma divrachurute v'yamlik malchute, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chaye dekol beit Yisrael, v'galav izman kariv v'yimru, amen. Yehesh me rabba mevarach le'olam olamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, V'yatadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei kudashah b'richu. Ve'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, damiran b'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort all the bereaved among us as we say, amen.
Aleinu ve'al We close our service this evening with Adon Olam, found on page 21, and please feel free to join in.
Please rise.
Adon Olam, Asher Malach,
Asher Malach,
B'terem Kol,
B'terem Kol,
Yetzir Nivra,
Yetzir Nivra,
Li'et Nasa,
Li'et Nasa,
V'chefso Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Ve'acharei Kichlot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Nora Adon Olam, Ve'hu Haya, Ve'hu Hoveh, Ve'hu Yeh B'tifara Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yetzir Nivra, Li'et Nasa, V'chefso Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Ve'hu Echad Ve'ein Sheni, Lehamshilo Lehachbira Adon Olam, Veli Reishit, Veli Tachlit, Velo Haoz Ve'hamizra Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yetzir Nivra, Li'et Nasa, V'chefso Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Ve'hu Eli, V'chai Goeli, V'tzor Chevli V'yitzara Adon Olam, Ve'hu Nisi Umanos Li, Menakosi Be'yom Mekra Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yetzir Nivra, Li'et Nasa, V'chefso Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Be'yado Hafkid Ruchi, Be'etishan Ve'ya'ira Adon Olam, Ve'im Ruchi Gevi'ati, Adon Ali Velo Ira Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yetzir Nivra, Li'et Nasa, V'chefso Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam. Vayehi erev, vayehi boker, yom hashishi. Vayichulu hashamayim be'aretz v'chol tzevam. V'echal Elohim b'yom hashvi melachto asher asa. Vayishbod b'yom hashvi mikol melachto asher asa. Vayivarech Elohim et yom hashvi. ויקדש אותו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. אמן. לחיים.
And wherever you are in the world, grab a piece of challah and join for motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min